Hey, RosterWatch Nation, inter-friendly neighborhood Trashman, back with another rookie spotlight. Today, I'm going to be talking about David White Jr. out of Western Carolina University. Um, he was a guy that I had actually intended to write up before the Shrine Bowl, or at least before the Shrine Bowl practices, and it was just so hard to find tape on him that I didn't think I'd be able to do an accurate write up of him, before the Shrine Bowl practices. And I guess maybe it was a good thing because I just didn't know what I had in store. David White out of Western Carolina University, 6'2", 195 pounds, 9 3/8 inches hands, 31.5 inch arms. He's got a big frame, he looks like he could be over 200 pounds, but I mean, I guess he's kind of lanky, but he's got a big frame, wide shoulders that you could build on. Just a size speed combo. One of the things that pops out when you see him on field, you see him, in these 7-on-7s, 11-on-11 drills, or one-on-one, is just his ability to create separation, kind of almost at will. There were some of these other wide receiver, Taj Washington, um, Isaiah, I think Williams, out of Illinois, some of these smaller guys who can create space because they're so, kind of shrimpy and fast. And it was just kind of uncanny to see White do it because, he's 6'2", almost 200 pounds, a big guy, but he was creating space like some of these smaller, really speedy receivers. And he was doing it through his quick footwork, head movement. He was just getting these defenders to bite and then just going. I didn't really get to see a chance. I didn't really get a chance to see him in many contested catch situations because none of his catches were contested. Really, there was space between him and his defender. Um, yeah, so it was just really something exciting to see out there. He was kind of head and shoulders above the rest of the receivers out there, except maybe Anthony Gould. He was consistently getting open at will. He made it look easy out there. But it was just funny to see because White was such a big guy compared to the rest of the guys. Really good body control for a receiver of his size, soft hands, excellent route runner, sharp. Uh, just creating space at the top of his routes, and then throughout the stems too. It just kind of it really didn't matter. He was able to create space on either end. Um, I really didn't have a lot bad to say about White. I really didn't see that much as far as downside on the field. I mean, he did play at a small school, so it was small school competition. Um, but it didn't even really matter because we saw him at the Shrine Bowl against those other good players, and apparently he'd done it at the Hula Bowl previously. I didn't get a chance to see him there, but you know, reading about this guy, apparently he put on a show at the Hula Bowl too. So he's doing it against good players, in situations that are somewhat high pressure. So the small school thing, I don't know if it holds for White. You know, I guess the other thing that potentially could be a knock on White is that he didn't practice on the second day that we were there, presumably because he was banged up. In fact, that's what I was told, is that he was a bit banged up from the day of practice before. I don't know if that was the case. If it was the case, maybe it's, a little bit of injury proneness on his part. But I tend to think that his agents, his people, saw that he did enough on that day of practice before to where he didn't need to go out there on field again. He showed everyone in the stands, what he can do. It's not like we were looking for this guy. He just kept on popping up, and we kept on commenting on it. White could be one of these players that we go to the Shrine Bowl, to the Senior Bowl, to suss out. One of these guys who come from a small school, maybe didn't get the opportunities that some of these other players got, but really just shines. When you put him on a big stage, when you pit him up against other players of his ilk, you know, good defenders for the most part, and he just thrives. So he's somebody I'm definitely going to be taking a flyer on in Dynasty, kind of regardless of where he lands. I guess we'll see his combine, see how he does, but unless he falls flat on his face, I still have a lot of hope for White in the NFL. He projects to be kind of a big slot, big slippery slot, but I think he could play outside too with just his separation ability. I compared him to Michael Thomas, somebody whose route running was really good, coming out of college, really good feet, just knew how to get open and was a big guy. I don't know if we get that kind of upside out of David White, but could be. Another Michael Wilson was somebody who I potentially compared David White to, a big guy who knows how to get open. Except this guy, White, he's quicker than Wilson from what I've seen. Anyway, so there you have it. David White Jr., out of Western Carolina University. I don't know how you're going to get your eyes on him, but we did, and we loved him, and we think you will too. So there you have it. On behalf of RosterWatch.com, this has been the Trashman. Until next time, be ready.